Welcome. We are going live again here, and I've got lots to talk to you about. So we're actually going to look at some books today and do a little Q&A. So I'm super excited to be here. Josh Gardens is your host, and we've got our favorite mug that we're going to be drinking from today. So I hope you enjoy this one. My wife got that for me. So think about what questions you've got before we dive into books. A couple announcements, some things that I want to talk about. I just launched my ebook. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to be posting the link in the chat so y'all can check it out. Super excited about this. This is my first publication I'm putting out there. It is all about container fruit trees. It's all about just getting to know what's good for container fruit trees. It's a big passion of mine. So if you've got questions on container fruit trees, we're going to talk about those. We're going to look at a couple different books today. Really like to know what it is that you want to hear. So again, I just dropped the link in the comments, so check that out if you want to look at that. You can also look for that ebook in my link tree, which is in my profile. So just go to that. All right, so let's dive in. First things first, this is probably one of the best all-encompassing books that I've owned on fruit trees. And this is the Fruit Gardener's Bible by Lewis Hill and Leonard Harry. And it is truly the Bible of fruit tree gardening knowledge. I'm a big fan. In it, we've got a whole assortment of different types of fruit, which is really what I like about it, is that it's sort of a coverall, not just from fruit trees, but also from berries. So if you're looking for a good, all-encompassing book, I would recommend this one, The Fruit Gardener's Bible. And I did highlight one particular page that relates to a recent post that I did. And it has everything to do with how you're going to do grape vine pruning by season. And I actually just covered this in one of my walkthroughs live previously and in some previous videos. So check it out. Really good book, The Fruit Gardener's Bible. I would recommend it. It is in my Amazon store. So if you want to check out my Amazon store, I've got a bunch of different books listed there. So Fruit Gardener's Bible. All right, next up, we've got another all-encompassing one that focuses a little bit less on berries, but more about fruit trees. This is by Orrin Martin. It's called Fruit Trees for Every Garden. And this one is really a good coverall for trees. It does cover a lot more for trees that you might find in the Northeast or northern part of the country. Not so much tropical or berries. But what I really like about this particular book is that it dives deep into all the different rootstock. So if you want to nerd out about fruit trees like I do, check out all of these different types of rootstocks. It dives into each different one. This has really been a fundamental knowledge for me when it comes to fruit trees. So check it out. Again, it's Fruit Trees for Every Garden. Nobody's paid me to promote this. I just think these are just really good fundamental books to let you all know about as you begin your fruit tree gardening journey. They've really helped me out. Another thing that I really like about this particular book is that it digs into a lot more visuals on tutorials in terms of how to plant your trees, things like that. So, yep, check it out. Fruit Trees for Every Garden. Okay, let's take a little tea break. Any questions on those first two before we continue on? As I mentioned earlier, I did just put out my first book. It's short. It's an ebook. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. You can download it. I just posted the link in the comments. I'll do that again just so you all have that ready. So check that out. Go download it. Once you download it, you'll see on the last page there's a link where you can actually sign up for something else I'm really excited about, which is something coming up down the road. I'll talk about that later. But let's jump into this last book. Now, this one is particularly fond to my heart. This is Grow a Little Fruit Tree. And this is a shorter book. It's very specialty. It's all about keeping your fruit trees small. And this is a concept not a lot of people know about. In fact, you don't have to have gigantic fruit trees. You can actually prune a fruit tree to be just as small as the one on this cover. So I would recommend giving this a look, Grow a Little Fruit Tree. It's by Anne Ralph. It is just the loveliest little book. And I'll show you a picture from the inside that I really like. And this is a good height for your tree, is just as tall as you can reach. And you can see this one here that's planted outside. And it really shows that you don't have to have these ginormous trees all over your property taking up all the space. You can actually prune a tree if you start early down to very small sizes that you can reach all the fruit. Now, it takes consistent pruning. Obviously, you want to pick the right varieties for that. But definitely a really good read. Grow a Little Fruit Tree. Again, these can all be found in my Amazon store, so that's linked through there. I'll post that link in the chat as well. I'm not sure if y'all are able to click on links in the chat or not, but we're going to post it anyway. So, all right, that concludes the books that I wanted to cover today. Any questions on those books or any others? I'd like to know your thoughts and comments. Any last thoughts on those books? All right. Well, great. Well, yesterday I went live. It was not recorded, but I did have a couple questions on citrus tree fertilizer. And I actually brought these out just because I didn't have them on hand answer. But this is what I use in a lot of my container fruit trees. You'll see this in a lot of big box stores. It's also sold online. You can get it through my Amazon store. It is a slow release type of fertilizer. Really useful, sort of all around. It's not organic, but it is a slow release formula that helps carry things through. But this is something you're going to want to do a little bit more regularly. And this is a fast release. And it's got a little bit of a smell to it. But this is the granular plant food from Job's Organic. So this is really good. This definitely has some sort of something that's got poultry manure. I think that's the smell there. So be careful when you spread this if you're not ready for the smell. Maybe don't do it on the inside. Maybe do this when you got your plant outside. But this is another great one. I don't have my liquid fast foliar spray here with me. I just ran out. I got to get some more, but that's also available on my Amazon store. So check that out. All right. So you guys posted some questions yesterday on the post that I put out, and one of the questions is what? Let me pull it up actually, because it was, how about showing some common pests and diseases with growing citrus trees and how to deal with them? Great question, Colonel Goat. So let's talk about citrus pests first. Probably the most common citrus pest that I found is spider mites. And spider mites are these small little red bugs that will grow on your plant, and form these little tiny thin webs. And you can get really close, you can see them. They're tiny little red dots. And they usually appear when you bring a citrus tree indoors. They thrive in low humidity environments. They thrive when there's not a lot of air movement, which is pretty much an indoor environment. So what I recommend for spider mites is really a mix of neem oil, which can also be like a horticultural oil, and some sort of soap. And you don't want to use like Dawn dish soap. You want to use like a Castile natural soap, and then just a drop of it. What that does is the neem oil combined with a little bit of soap will help stick to the leaves, and you really got to spray it well. So put that in a spray with water, follow the directions, and you're going to spray all up and down the tree to cover it with neem oil and a little bit of soap to get that to stay on there. So do that for your spider mites. That's probably the biggest one. The other pests that I find are fungus gnats. So fungus gnats. All right, and I'll jump back to the books here in a second. Great question. Fungus gnats are really a major pain because they get into the soil and they actually will eat away at the roots of the soil. And then that's the larvae stage. And then when they come out, they form these gnats that fly and buzz around, and they're really annoying. And you can treat them after the fact with some sort of sticky paper or fly trap material that will get them stuck to it, but you really want to prevent it in the first place. And the way that you prevent fungus gnats is you put a thin layer of sand, or you don't overwater and make sure you have very fast draining soil, or you use mulch. Use a thin layer of mulch on top, and what that does is that keeps them from landing on the soil, putting their eggs in the soil, that is larvae hatching and coming out, eating your roots and turning into flies. So those are the two biggest pests. Let me jump back to the books because somebody wanted to mention that. I did go over 3 books earlier. These are the 3 books. We've got the Fruit Gardener's Bible, which is really like a great all-in-one book. Covers a lot of different fruit, right? Definitely would recommend this one by Lewis Hill and Leonard Perry. And then also, he covered the Fruit Trees for Every Garden, which is a great book by Orrin Martin, and it covers a lot more about trees and specific rootstock varieties. So this will really help. And then lastly, we looked at Grow a Little Fruit Tree by Ann Ralph, which is a superb way to prune your fruit trees to keep them small. You want to make sure that you can reach the fruit that you grow, because otherwise you're going to need a ladder. It's dangerous. It's way more difficult to prune. It's difficult to spray and thin your fruit. So I would recommend keeping your fruit trees small. All right. Any last questions before we wrap up? I've got a few more minutes here. Just thought I'd do this. I'm actually going to be going live. Try to go every day, either over lunch or in the evenings. One thing that I did want to mention is next week I'm hoping to do a webinar, a free webinar on the ABCs of fruit trees. So super excited about that. I'm going to send out more information soon. If you didn't catch it already, I posted the link to my ebook in the chat, so you can download that. It's got all kinds of things like for container fruit trees, how to keep your plants happy and keep those roots happy, right? You want to make sure that they're cool. I talk a lot about TLC, right? What do you need to do to make sure that you're tending to those? And then also keeping those tree sizes manageable. So fruit trees in containers, if they're really vigorous, they can get out of hand. You want to make sure you keep that manageable and keep that pot size manageable so you can pick it up as well. So I'm super excited that you're excited as I am about the webinar. I think you're really going to like it. I'm just really want to give everybody so much value. You know, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've got hundreds of fruit trees now. I give out fruit to all my friends and family, and now I just want to share my passion with you all. So I'm super excited. Appreciate y'all diving in. Stay tuned. I'll be announcing more live sessions coming up here. And because we don't have any other questions, I hope you all have a great evening. Until next time, thanks.